Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NCW, also known as New Comic Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before, we chat for a few minutes every Wednesday about Xenoscope's newest releases. If you don't know who I am your NCW host, Amber. Wow, I did that pretty well this time. Your NCW host, Amber. And today we'll be interviewing two important people on our publishing team, which I'm very excited to bring on shortly. In the meantime, where you can get Xenoscope's newest releases, you can get them three places. You can either get them at your local comic shop, you can get them on Comixology, or you can buy them at Xenoscope.com. You'll go to comics, new releases, and it will show you what the newest release it is today, and then everything behind it. So people find out about today's NCW, make sure that you either like, you share, you react, or you do the notification bell, you press that. So then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you always share all NCWs or you share anything about news releases, all that lovely stuff. But yes, happy Wednesday. I'm happy that I get to be here to hang out with you guys like I normally do. Yay. Today, we're going to be chatting about two releases. We're going to be chatting about Grim Fairy Tales number 57, and we're going to be chatting about Belle, Queen of Serpents, which is our follow-up chat from Belle number 50, which came out just a few weeks ago. And if you don't want really any spoilers, and I'm going to try not to spoil it, make sure that you go back and watch the NCW from a couple of weeks ago where we talk about Belle number 50 and I interviewed Dave, which all anniversary issues like number 50 are very, very important and come with a series of covers because, I said Belle number 50, but I meant to say Belle number 25. Why did I do that? I got Dave I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry, Dave, but I appreciate that. I did that now twice. Okay, without further ado, to go through all the covers and everything, I'm going to bring on our publishing team. So first I will bring on our editor-in-chief, David Wohl, who was a wonderful guest last week. I did not get to interview him. Casey did, and she did a great job, but here he is.
Hey. Did you watch from Star Wars Cantina?
I watched a couple of minutes, and then I'll admit I was trying to get into the Rise of the Resistance ride, and so I had to go.
How was it?
It was good. It was a lot of fun. I'm a really big. I might get some feedback on this, but I love Kylo Ren. He's my favorite. So whenever Kylo's on a ride, I'm like, yeah, Kylo Ren.
He rides with you?
He's like a part of it. He's like trying to stop the Rise of the Resistance, which is kind of funny because no spoilers on Star Wars, but obviously like things change. Like Rey's like, oh, go after Kylo, and I'm like, they kiss, whatever.
Because you knew that he was good at heart.
I'm like, we all know that Reylo is going to happen in the I love Reylo. I'm a Reylo supporter, so. Okay, I'm also going to bring on our publisher, Dave, who, oh my God, I see in the background. What are you showing us? Chucky?
He thinks you're wearing Chucky cosplay today.
You're just like a good guy doll. And your hair.
Oh my God, you're right. Wow. I cosplayed just for you guys.
Thank you.
So
Dave and I were going to wear our Supernatural cosplay today because, everyone knows that he's Sam and I'm Dean in Supernatural World, but we left it home. So
yeah,
we'll do it next time.
So
flowing locks.
Speaking of you guys loving each other so much, I have a surprise. Before we dive into the comics, I thought it'd be really fun if I just asked you a series of questions to see if you know how well you know the other person on the publishing team. It's going to be really fast. I just want to expose your relationship.
Like the
I don't know for that person.
Newlywed Game. Oh, I'm probably too old.
It is like the Newlywed Game.
Okay.
The first question.
I've never spent a night together like Chris Cote and I have. So Chris might know more about me than Dave, but
you're supposed to be communicating every day, so I'm kind of concerned.
Okay.
The story.
The first question is going to be, and this one is directed at David. So don't answer Dave. I'm going to ask David this question, and he has to give me the answer. If Dave could only write one storyline for the rest of his life at Xenoscope, which storyline would it be?
At Xenoscope?
He could only write one storyline for the rest of his life.
Well, now, would it count if Xenoscope got the rights to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
You know, okay, I'll allow that as a support answer. But what would be his one that he only gets to write as a character that Xenoscope is introduced in the current universe?
I'd probably have to say Hershey.
Dave, what is your answer?
That was a good question. I don't know. I mean, I guess the Hershey comic coming 2023. It's the Hershey universe.
So would that be Belle, or would that just be Hershey's backstory?
I think that'll be Hershey on his own.
Yeah,
I think it'll be some kind of adventure where Hershey, somehow gets out, like I don't know, what's that Pet movie?
Pets.
Like the Secret Lives of Pets. Oh, is it Pets when they get away?
Yeah, I think you're right. Secret Lives of Pets. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was called that. What about Cats versus Dogs?
Something like that. I mean, Secret Life of Hershey versus the crocodile that lives in New York or Philadelphia under the
cross it over with with Stephen King, and he's the turtle in it. And he's floating in space.
Like I said this morning, Dave's mind goes places, and I'm like, what?
Well, I would say Belle. If you wanted to force me to say like a character that's existing in continuity, I would say Belle.
Okay, so it looks like you got 1 point. Okay, so Dave, now it's your turn. I'm gonna ask you this question. Okay. What was the first book you and David worked on together when he became editor-in-chief?
That's an easier question.
Kind of, but I don't know. They all blend together. I would say it was the same time. It was the Hellchild Grim Spotlight and you're talking about story, or are you talking about?
I'm talking about any book that was the first one you guys both worked on together.
Like he means worked on from a standpoint of like writing the story, or I could even speak for Dave. Like
yeah, I don't know.
It would be like Grim. It would be that Grim Spotlight, Hellchild, and then also the holiday special, the Grim Universe Presents Holiday. So it was like we kind of worked on those together at the same time, and bounced between them. So I think that was the first stories we did together as a story. Because, you know what? I'm lying. I retract my statement. I retract it because we worked on some of the Grim Fairy Tale stuff, like Grim 52 together before we even got into the other stuff. So like Grim 52 is probably the first one we sat around and did.
Okay, David, what's the answer?
Yeah, that's probably right. I would say like if it was just physically getting my hands on a story, it was Death Force. It was Zodiac Death Force. Probably was the first one that I got involved in, but that one, the story was already done for that. So yeah, the Grim 52 is probably the first one. I give David.
Correct answer is everything. Everything over the past couple months. And
I think it was probably the Jay Sandlin Tales of Terror Halloween story, if that preceded the.
I think the Death Force was first.
Death Force?
Yeah, no, Death Force was the first one that I was actually involved in, but I didn't do anything with the story on that one.
Okay, so next question.
I love that we don't really have like points. We don't have real answers.
This one has a real answer. This one has a real answer, I swear. Okay, David, how many years has Dave worked at Xenoscope?
12?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 13 next month.
Because they started 2000, was it 2009?
9, yeah. So 13 next month, March I started.
Wow. Okay.
I gotta come clean. Obviously, I thought he started in 2010. So I didn't happen to be right. I was only off by a week. But I guess if people guess and get the right answer, they still technically get it. So I'll take the point.
Congratulations. Okay, and the final question, Dave. How many cats does David have?
I know one. I know at least one. I think you have like 3?
No, I just have one.
Well, I say I know the one because we're always talking with him. He's always in our meetings. But I could have sworn you said something before about having more, but maybe I was wrong. I guess I was wrong. Or he has 3 personalities. I don't know.
Yay! The publishing.
I think it was like the newlywed game, though. I thought we
kind of knows each other.
Where do we win to go on vacation?
Vegas.
Split
Ah.
Rock.
It's a good transition for the Vegas VIP event.
Oh, quick plug. So the Vegas VIP event will be taking place the weekend of April 22nd. We still have some exciting stuff surrounding the VIP event that we will eventually be announcing, such as the actual schedule. And some of the most exciting stuff about the VIP event is the fact that these two people, I just pointed the wrong way again, these two people, your publishing team of David and Dave, you can ask them these questions in in person at the Vegas event if you go.
I heard a rumor
there.
that Amber is going to do the werewolf game also.
Oh my God, that will never happen. It was my suggestion to do that game, which is beyond me, but I will never play it again. Unless.
Is that because you don't like the way
Ralph?
You don't like the way Ralph handles it?
So it's just that everyone thinks that I rile everybody up, and then I will have you know that I have
That's right. You did rile everybody up.
What if we change the victims to like a different age setting? Would that help?
Dave, you're exposing me out here. We'll talk about killing children one day. Okay, that came up wrong, but there's a side note about movies and that. Anyway, so my other gripe with it was the fact that I played like 6 times and I was always just a townsperson. I never got to be a healer. I never got to be Van Helsing. Like, I didn't get to be anybody.
I got to be Van Helsing in the last game.
Oh my God, Steven, does that mean I have to play? I'll play just if the fans really want me to. If you guys don't want me to play, I won't play.
Wow.
But if the fans want it, I'll play.
Really awkward if they get there and they're like, we don't want you to play. It's just like
I won't be offended.
Awkward position you're putting them in.
Anyway, okay, let's get to today's newest releases now that I've spent 12 minutes talking on this show. Our first release up is Grim Fairy Tales number 57. It will have 4 covers. There are all of the lovely artists. Casey, will you pop up the covers? And as always, fans, tell me what your favorite covers are. I'm not even going to ask Dave anymore because he's not actually going to tell me. Here is cover
tell David all the time. I literally, every day, I write David all my favorite covers.
He's sending me a message about it right now.
Here is cover B. I really like this cover a lot because I like that you get to see, I love when we get to see the villain, and I like when we get to see the details of the villain because the interior is always really good, but the covers give you like the full grasp of the imagination of the villain.
Wait till you see the upcoming Tales of Terror Halloween cover that just came in today. And that wasn't Halloween. Back to school.
Back to school. Yeah, Tales of Terror quarterly back to
school. There's a villain that's right there on that cover B, and it's really good. But I'm digressing.
Cover C. Send me that cover. Cover C.
Well, I thought it was cover B.
I love this cover too. When I was posting
very noir.
It is very noir. It's very noir. I get some detective vibes here, right? It's noir. Okay, and here is cover D. Our lovely 4 sets of covers. As always, tell me in the comments which is your favorite. There's a lot of 4. You know what's great about Grim Fairy Tale covers is the fact that there are so many characters, especially because we've been jumping universes, that it really gives you the opportunity to show so many different characters on each cover. So you have the option, like if I really like Belle, I'm going to want to, of course, get cover D, right? Whereas when you are following just one character storyline, you are like, oh, now it's hard to choose because I like this character and here's like 3 to 4 versions of this character. Does that make sense?
Which makes it, it makes it hard too when we're doing the cover concepts because you're like, I don't want to just do the same cover 3 times. So it's like trying to figure out what it is, but also make them cool and also to the story.
Yeah.
Cover D looks sort of like a Belle horror film.
Where's our Hershey cover, Dave?
I don't think Joe and Ralph would ever let me do a Hershey cover. I think I'd have to be kicked off of covers at that point.
I'll read the synopsis and I'll get into the questions. Sky is at a crossroads when the choices she makes can end the entire universes. What is she going to do with every path leading to destruction? Ooh, that's hard. How will Sky come out on top in a world that corrupts those that hold the most power? Will she take it on herself to run this town under her own influence? Don't miss the shocking next issue of Sky's cross-universal journey.
Don't miss it.
Bam.
I was shocked.
Here's my first question. So we've been hopping around a lot, and we're following a lot of different storylines. Can you get me up to speed where we are?
We're with Sky, and she is doing Sky things in a Sky kind of way.
That description right
Really?
there, solid.
No, I mean, well, I'm more I for issue 57, I got to flip through because like they start blending together. So this is kind of towards the end of this part of the arc in the fractured universe. So it's kind of the end of this part of this universe that you're going to see, and it's setting up pretty much where we're going to like start heading towards the Grimm Annual is going to kind of be the end of this arc, of this fractured universe arc, and this issue is kind of like pushing us right along to the next story. So I mean, this one you're getting like some, like, hopefully we can come back to this universe one day, but like you're getting some closure on some of the characters from Belle to the King of Serpents to the Black Knight to Peyton, to everybody that's in there. But I mean, it's really just kind of like, I mean, saying like each issue pushes you to the next issue. But I mean, this one, the way it ends, it's going to open up to a lot more answers for what we've been kind of hinting at for the last couple of issues of like what the gem is, why Sky is in these different universes, and where we're going to we're trying to bring it back to.
Yeah.
As cryptic as I can say that, but if that makes sense.
So you kind of answered my next question, but maybe I'll just lay it out there a little bit better. So we've been jumping around a lot. Will we be ending the jump soon?
Yes and no. I mean, like we're going to see a few more universes before we get to the end, before we get essentially back to where we need to be. But we'll probably see another 2 or 3 universes in the short span between now and the annual. But I'm trying to think too, like the next one, like the next 2 are like 58's like probably one of my favorites. I've been telling David, like it's one of my favorites of it. I mean, hopefully other people like it, but I just like just the setting and the world and what you kind of get there, and also the possibilities. Like my favorite part about doing the stories is like it sucks because you can't put everything into one thing. So it's like almost like, all right, we created these things, put little seeds, and what are the possibilities? Because I tell David all the time, he probably just tells me, okay, that sounds good, just to shut me up. But it's more like to be like, I want us to be able to kind of like one day go back and see where these characters in this universe go past what we've done to their universe. Like we're kind of going in there and affecting their lives. And then what's the story after that? Like we know where Sky is going, but we only have ideas of where the other characters are going, which I don't know.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that was my next question, kind of, are we ending up in the OG universe, or are we ending somewhere else?
I can't tell you that.
I gotta ask these questions.
I'll tell you my favorite cover before I tell you that.
You're saying, is it like Back to the Future and Sky is like messing around with this other dimensional stuff and it ends up messing up her reality?
With
or like maybe she's like, yo, the noir phase, pretty cool. Let me just plant here.
Let me hang out with these murderers and violent criminals, because like other worlds,
some people prefer that.
I mean, some people do. I don't know. Maybe there's just a world of turtles. Maybe she goes through a portal and she's a turtle person. Who knows? You guys got to pick up every issue to find out.
Okay, so will we ever see the versions of these other characters ever again?
Hope. Hopefully. I mean, there's ideas there. I mean, there's nothing set in stone yet of where we will or when we will. But I mean, there's definitely the possibility to see a lot of these characters again. Like as I was saying, like there's somewhere I'm like, there's so much more to them that we can kind of go into. You'll see you'll see some characters kind of throughout.
Actually, as a matter of fact, coming up in Grimm, you're going to see a world that is an after effect of an earlier story. You know, it's like they go back into that world and it continues like down the line.
So pick up Van Helsing number 50 to get a hint at what that is.
Of what?
Right. So yeah, I think that we definitely want to make it that these other worlds are all existing like out there, as our stories are going on, they're still going on in their way. And also, yeah, what she's doing now is messing with those worlds, and definitely could have repercussions when we see them again.
So I've asked Dave a couple of times, I've asked Dave, and sometimes people will be like, what's the difference between, both of your roles? So during this process, especially when Dave, always for the time being and usually writes Grim Fairy Tales as well as Belle, like, how do your roles change, or do they remain the same?
I think they pretty much remain the same. It varies a little bit. I mean, because like I'm sort of his editor, not sort of. I am, like, so the books that he works on, he just runs them by me, and then like I give him notes on his story like as he's working on it. And then with the stories that I'm doing, he'll do the same for me, and then just more in general, Dave, has a lot of ideas that he's had, like, over time, for a lot of stories, like he's like, and so a lot of times it's just helping him mold a story, even for a lot of the other stories that we're doing, like, and then Joe and Ralph, all of us will sit in a room, or virtually, and have like these big general like conversations about, what, especially for Tales of Terror stories, we do it more for them, but even for like the Grim Universe stuff, like we want it all to be cohesive. So we'll just know what each other is trying to do and help each other get there. And then Dave and I will kind of work to mold the story out. Into like,
so I mean, yeah, it's exactly what David said. Like we pretty much bounce everything off each other and work to make every story better. Like, I mean, everything I've given, and he gives me notes back, it's made the story better. It's never been like, that's insane, we can't do that. It's like, but like,
add a dog.
What's that?
Add a dog. That's always
I do gotta add a dog.
A joke Hollywood note. This would be better with a dog.
Only cool if they killed the dog. Okay. Again, like I was telling Dave, if movies and comics go there where they kill the animals, then you're like, they're not afraid. Like, obviously I don't want them to die in real life. I have a cat. He's my world. But then I know that they weren't afraid.
But everybody else is cat and dog. Not
I gotta say, judging from the board, it seems like a lot of people want to see Sela around again. That seems to be
maybe they will.
A consensus.
Okay, that is all my questions on Grim Fairy Tale number 57. Let's move to our other release that is coming out today, also written by Dave, which is, should I say it's Belle 51, even though it's
yeah.
I can't believe I did
in
that.
Another universe, in a universe where Belle 25 was 50.
That's fair. Belle, Queen of Serpents. There is going to be 3 covers. As always, Casey, will you pop up cover A? Yeah, Queen of Serpents. Again, like I said,
there's a villain back there.
Yeah, I like to see the villain in the background. Here is cover B.
There's a villain in the foreground.
Quick question as we're doing this is, okay, so obviously I'm going to ask this question a little bit about the King of Serpents. Did you ever like look at the Queen of Serpents cover and be like, oh, we kind of want to mimic what we did in the King of Serpents so they connect?
Didn't think about it until right now. So no.
Cool. Cover C. Oh, so really, I can immediately tell it's Elias without even looking at the name. 3 solid covers. Very, very well thought out. I guess let's talk a little bit about the covers. So how do you come up with the cover concepts? Is it you go to the artist and say, hey, here's the storyline, or do the artists come to you and say, these are the 3 pictures we have for this? If they're going to do multiple covers of something, it's
normally us. Like whether we do it in the room when we're coming up with the story, or we just kind of like, or I'll send stuff to David, or like even for the Tales of Terror, Sea of Souls, I asked him for ideas, like what he had in mind, and we kind of just mold things together. But we bring it to the artist. We basically bring the idea of what we have to the artist. Sometimes it's more just like, all right, give us a character with this artist's style. Here's what the story is. So like we can do a setting either in like a rooftop or a jungle or wherever it is. But I mean, most of the time it's just us kind of coming up with, all right, we want this character on there fighting this character in this place. Or sometimes things pop in your head. You're like, all right, this would be really cool. Let's do this character. And we see like an explosion behind them and we see silhouettes of different characters, something like that. But like even this, like I can show you a teaser of Grim 61 just because we just got it in.
Behind the scenes, guys.
Cover.
Oh, I love when we get teasers.
Oh.
Is that David's cat?
He's responding.
So there's a question in the background, which is there a reason for the page count at the top of the comic covers?
Yes. Yeah, it's basically it's more for new readers, but it's also to kind of like help people know what they're getting into and know what they're jumping into, and also to justify the price point. They're like, all right, people, like we've always had people ask, like, why is this $3.99? Why is this $1.599? Why is this $7.99? And this way it tells you, it's like, it's right there. It's like, it's because there's more content, there's more pages. It's what it is. But also too, like it's to kind of condition people to realize like the 22 page is more of the ongoing series. The 32 and the 72, 64 are like standalone stories. But yeah, I mean, it's really just there to help you like rationalize, like, okay, you're charging me $5, $6 for this. Why? And it's like, because there's 36 pages, there's 35 pages, there's
72 pages.
72 pages.
Billion.
Interesting. So the end of 25, aka 50, but the end of 25 was super insane. A lot happened. I don't know if we want to spoil it all. We probably don't, because it only came out 3 weeks ago, so I don't really want to take that away from people. But how many months have passed? Like, it feels like the Avengers Endgame and then Spider-Man Far From Home. How much time has passed in between these two storylines?
About 3 weeks. No, I mean, like in reality, it is. It's not that long. It's Belle still dealing with the choices she's made. In Grim 25 or Belle 50. So Belle 25. So she's dealing with that still, and now it's kind of like her getting back to her life, and it's not like the next day, but it's like it's a few weeks later. So it's nothing drastic. Like, oh, it's been a year and she's still crying about the same thing that she did.
It's probably a couple of weeks travel time, right? I mean,
we'll see. I mean, this one. Oh, for this one, yeah, I could see that. I'm thinking of the next one because like we start working on multiple ones at once, you start losing your mind.
I don't know how you stay organized with storylines, and you know what I'm saying. Like, that's crazy
organization. Show her your how you stay organized with storylines.
I could show you my craziness.
I have seen it in person before, so the fans will enjoy this.
That's how I know the issues are done.
This is your publishing team, and this is your publishing team's way of marking things to make sure that it gets done.
That's just my personal
2022.
There was at one point though, before I could like figure out how to get myself organized, where I just had like 50 post-it notes everywhere. I was like, okay, memento style. Let me pull up and remember this and remember that.
I actually started to do that on my wall here to try to keep track of all the books happening, so I could remember from day to day, like, oh, I'm supposed to work on this, and then I started writing like a list, like out like that, of things that I needed to work on.
Yeah, I got that too.
but now we just have an ongoing Google Doc that has all the different things in it.
I have multiple checks and balances that I have to make sure that I'm getting stuff done. I mean, because there's a lot to do, and it's more just finding whatever is easiest way to keep us like going. Like, that's just more for me with the writing stuff. But like, yeah, like David says, I have a list of everything that like I need to do, and I update that pretty much daily. And then, I mean, storylines, it's different because a lot of it's just stuck in my head. And then for David, it's like he's got to learn all the new stuff. So as we're going, like he's memorizing, I guess, the new stuff, and then having to learn all the older stuff. Where I just bombard him with like reading lists or things like that coming up. But like, yeah, I mean, it's a lot, but it's fun. Like, I mean, it's comic books. Like, I'm not like, oh man, I got to read all these comics. Like, oh, this is terrible. But like,
yeah, it's not really.
He's the It's Always Sunny meme with the guy with, like with all the papers and connection.
Oh, that's when Charlie made Facebook or whatever. He made his own Facebook.
Good times. It's always funny. Quick shout out. Okay, so obviously there's been a king of serpents, and now there is a queen of serpents. Can you tease what the connection is?
The son of serpents. No, that doesn't exist.
My brother-in-law twice removed serpents.
Cousin serpents. But no, like, I mean, it's kind of like a loose sequel to that King of Serpents book. So we did the King of Serpents, I don't know, months ago. And what happens in that book is basically Belle's friend gets bitten by the King of Serpents and infected. And Belle essentially thinks she saves her and cures her in that book. And this book kind of is picking up a little like months later from that storyline, but it kind of giving you a sequel to what happened to that character and then leading up to where we can go with that character. So spoiler for King of Serpents.
Spoiler. If you ever read King of Serpents, I think that came out like a year ago.
Yeah, it's been at least a year.
I don't know if it was on NCW. I want to say it was, though.
I don't know. You guys have like 60, 70 episodes? I
realize we're about to hit 50.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's been almost 1 year. We started doing this in March.
Wow.
So if people aren't sick of me yet, this is what it is. But okay, so there is a scene. I should have taken a picture of it, and there's a scene. It's special, and Hershey is in a seatbelt in the back of a car. Who approved this?
David was like, "We need more safety in our books."
Yeah, Dave actually wanted to have this whole scene where Hershey was smoking, and I said, "No, there's no smoking."
He's smoking and cursing, and we're just we settled on this.
And we settled on buckling Hershey up.
I actually suggested Hershey should be in a car seat, but you just did the buckle instead of that.
Well, there's something Ashley here suggested, and I think it's a funny thing. It's not a serious thing that we can do, but it's something I'm gonna pitch later coming up. But I'll tell you about it. It's goofy, but I mean, this is more just finding a way to get them in there, but also showing how attached this close knit friends and family are. Like they're a family, and they don't. And it's also too like in this story, she doesn't know if she's gonna live. She doesn't know anything, so it's almost like her giving a chance to it's like a goodbye. Now, I mean, but it's not as that serious. But I look at it that way as like it's looking at it as like, all right, I might not come back from wherever I'm doing here. You have your cat, you have your dog, and it's like hopefully someone finds you and you don't starve to death in the apartment.
I literally say that all the time, actually, to my family. I'm like, if you haven't heard from me in more than 24 hours, like someone go to my apartment and check on my cat, because like I would never. And if my cat is gone, then you know that I chose to disappear. But if my cat is there, like I would never actively.
You're telling everyone how to like successfully abduct you.
Right. Just remember to take care of the cat.
Yeah. Her family will never look for her.
There was times in college where I wouldn't answer my mom for like a couple of days, maybe weeks, I don't know, and she'd be like, if you don't answer me within an hour, I'm turning off the phone bill. And within an hour, within minutes, there would be a phone call going to our phone.
Love through threats.
So okay, one more question, and then you guys are free to go. Tell us again how you guys work together and what your different titles mean now that you're both on a call together. I never get to have you both here. So if somebody's lying, we'll find out.
I feel like we're just one giant being doing like sometimes I'm the hands and sometimes David's the feet.
It's this looper where really David, you guys are the same because your name's the
old
same.
Version of Dave.
That's what I'm saying. And now
I've been sent back to kill him, or he's been sent back to kill me.
What? That does happen in Looper. But so you guys pitch stories together, or everybody has a chance to pitch story, and you decide on it together. Obviously, with Joe and Ralph, right? That's step one.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like in the beginning of the year, or when we had our bigger meeting, we kind of mapped out most of the publishing schedule, like what the stories we had rough ideas for. Some we just had titles for. Some we just wanted to know what the characters were going to do. And then after that's kind of approved, like Joe and Ralph, and we'll go through it, but like they'll give the approval on it. Then that's when we start chipping away at it. And then some of the stuff we'll sit together, like we meet at least once or twice a week nowadays to kind of pick out certain stories and try to map them out. Some stories me and David just sit there and map out together, and we just pick them apart. But I mean, it's a big group effort. I mean, and then we just kind of start, like, we kind of just build onto each other's stories, and then some of them we write. Like Dave wrote the Grim Spotlight Gretel, and then but some of them we'll take to other writers, and we'll get that like hey, we outlined this. Here's our general idea. What can you do with it? Like, let's see what you come up with. And then we go through notes. We go through, I mean, that's the thing. Even right now, like I'm going through our Oz annual right now. And I think David's already read it, or he's going through it later today. And I'll send over my notes to him. He'll put the notes together, and then we'll either talk about it, or we'll just get it right over to the writer. Like, hey, here's what we have. Like, here's the issues we have, or here's things we want to change, or here, this is good to go. Let's just keep moving. I mean, and then as we're going now, we're kind of separating it more where like David's gonna like be more on like gathering the art for the interiors and stuff like that, where I'm still doing the cover stuff. And then so we together we are literally doing one giant process of making the book from scratch to the finish, from interiors to covers, but we're just all handling little pieces of it.
Yeah, like I'll work with the writers, and Dave will write his notes given to me, and then I'm the one that gives them to them, and then manage the process going forward all the way to the end. And then Dave is more involved with doing the covers, and well, like we're sort of in this weird transition right now with like solicitations and like all other parts of the process, you know, because Dave is involved in like a whole bunch of things, as you're well aware. So since I started, it's been my job to take a lot of those things off of his plate, you know, and try to work on them on my own, to give him more time to do those other publisher aspects of his job.
So I asked this question before to David, but obviously, like, Dave writes the ongoing Grimm Fairy Tales and Belle. David, do you think there'll ever be a series that you just continue to write? Like Joe always writes Robin Hood. Ralph usually takes on the side series that we do, like the more sci-fi. So do you think you'll ever like put your stamp as a writer on one of the series and keep it going?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if Dave wants that, because I already have a bad reputation at Xenoscope for being really slow, and so I'm not sure if
you have to yell at yourself.
As a freelancer, yeah. I mean, so I'd have to yell at myself, but I'd like to, yeah. If I have more, if I can just spend time every day doing it.
If you guys love these guys, which I'm sure that you do, you'll have a couple of opportunities to see them in person throughout the year. So the first one upcoming will be Fan Expo Philly. Dave will be making an appearance there. He'll be signing some stuff. That will be taking place April 8th through the 10th. At the Vegas VIP event, both of them will be in attendance. David's a little bit harder to track down because David lives farther away. So he will be
at my birthday, though, so I expect gifts.
Wait, when is your birthday?
April 10th.
Oh, okay. So we're having a surprise birthday party for David. David doesn't know yet.
Mute him. Mute his thing.
We'll do something special in the background. On top of that, then you also will be able to see Dave at Motor City, which will be coming up in May. And then, you'll probably see both of them at San Diego and New York, as well as some other, minor announcements that I'm sure Dave will make another appearance at a different show. And if we do a few more of these retailer live stream lives, I'm sure that Dave will also go and be signing at those.
And maybe Dave and I will lobby for a show like the coffee show on Monday morning, which I watched.
Oh, maybe we should just have a publisher show, like, right? But I guess that would be Comic Company. I was like, where it's all fake and scripted. That's already been done. Scratch that. Might be.
Fresh idea.
It would be funny, though, if you guys had like and again, like David was on last week to talk about Gretel and the writer's room and how awesome it is that the fans, like the VIPs, get attributed in that story because they were part of the writer's room. Like, it would be cool if there was just like a stream one time a month where you guys like previewed what was coming, but you were actually like talking it through confidentially or something. I don't know.
Could be
Like
cool.
we recorded all of our conversations
Actually,
and then cut them.
Yeah.
Something else I'm having fun with lately is trying to figure out where to incorporate the VIPs into our books, because we're actually, putting them in like their likenesses. And it's fun.
That's
Fun
true.
Murdering and finding good ways to make them stick out there.
We just put a new one in what?
Mr. Ralph Gilson. He was in the
Black Knight. But
he had two. He
he's got another appearance coming up.
He uses VIP points, so he had two.
In the Tales of Terror.
Making our way down the list. So if anybody's in here and it's on the list, we're getting to you.
We haven't forgotten about you.
Nope.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm sure I will have you on NCW soon.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Again, that was our publishing team of Dave and David. And as always, Dave is in the background to correct me on everything. And luckily he is. And I always appreciate that. So thank you, Dave. I love having David on. They're a great duo. They do a really great job. We had 2 releases today that we talked about. Again, we talked about Belle, Queen of Serpents. If you haven't read Belle 25, you're going to want to, because this takes place mere weeks after it. And there were a lot of shocking things that took place in 25. And the other story that you're going to want to read is Belle, King of Serpents, because as Dave mentioned, there are connections there. So that release came out somewhere within the last year. So around a year, I believe. So make sure that you go back and read those. On top of those 2, I didn't even mention the other one. Grim Fairy Tales number 57 was the other release that came out. And again, you'll want to have read at least number 50 because, there's lots of jumping. Sky has been jumping a lot of universes. There's a lot of different storylines going on. It's been so much fun. But I think we have a few more universes to still jump before the storyline ends. So don't forget to pick up Grim Fairy Tales number 57. Our next week release, I get very excited, will be continuing the Robin Hood storyline, which is Robin Hood Shadows of the Past. So I'm excited to talk about that because Robin Hood's journey has been very, very emotional over the past couple of months and continues to be so. And I love Robin Hood, and I think Joe does a great, great job writing her. In full other recap mode, our winner of our NCW collectible showcase cover. We'll pop it up. Drum roll that I kind of have. Yay, Steve. Congratulations. You're a winner of our latest NCW collectible cover. That cover. Oh, I got confetti. How fun. Very, very fun. I'm excited that Aaron picked up his NCW Showcase Edition today. I must have missed him when he was at the office. But so he is our latest winner. I'm very, very excited. Our next week's stipulations will be that you have to be a subscriber for the sticker book. If you haven't gotten a sticker book, you'll love it. It's one of our most popular subscriptions. It recently launched just this year. It is a great way to collect stickers. And if you collect all 14, you get a variant cover of Ebass. But on top of that, each sticker will be a different character, a different iconic Xenoscope character, and it will come with a bio about that character. So also a great, great opportunity to learn a little bit more about us if you're a new fan and who are our staple characters, what are their backgrounds, what is their bio, what's important stuff that you need to know about them. And it gives you a really, really nice full view of, their weapons, what they look like, what their known costumes are, etc. So all you have to do is be a subscriber. You don't have to send Casey an email this week. We'll pull the list. Thank you. There is the book. So make sure that you subscribe now. You can go to Xenoscope.com, press subscriptions, and add it on into your subscription list. On top of that, thank you, Chuck, for dropping the link in. On top of the sticker book. So that was our winner. Last week's winner, Aaron, again, picked up his NCW collectible. But let's talk about these NCW covers. We are less than a week away, and we still have covers, guys. I'm concerned. I don't want to see them get shredded. Do you want to see comics get shredded? Do you want to see a beautiful Elias Chadzudis comic get shredded? And let's talk about that little emblem at the bottom, the Xenoscope logo. Like, that's in a foil. This is nice. This is nice. You'll really, really like these collectibles. We have a few left. If they are not sold out by next Monday, the last day of the month, because February is a short month, then we're going to get a video. on Wednesday of Casey and Noah destroying them. And I don't know if you guys want to see this because I think it's going to break Jay's heart. And I don't want to do that to him. I don't want to be breaking hearts out here. So, Chuck, or you can just pay the price and then it will be worth it forever, right? That's all I'm going to say about that. But, I like Brian's suggestion. I bought an additional sticker book so I could keep one clean and use the stickers for the other. This is a great idea. Get two. So that way you can have one to, I used to do that actually with collectible items. Like I would get collectible Barbies sometimes and I really wanted to play with the Barbies because it made me sad, but I would buy one and preserve it. And then the other one I would take out and take off its clothing and trade it out. And then she'd go on crazy Barbie adventures that she used to do. But so NCW collectible, go get it now. We have less than 7 days to buy it. Whatever is not sell gets shredded. On top of that, we have a lot of upcoming stuff, including, like we said, the VIP event. There is still time to get tickets. A lot more announcements will be coming along with that, as well as the schedule, what's coming out. That is the weekend of April 23rd. If you're not a VIP and you want to become a VIP, you can get a discounted price of the ticket and the VIP membership moving forward. So it'll be a really, really fun couple of days with, as you saw, the publishing team that was on there today will be in attendance. On top of that, tomorrow we will be having movie club. It'll be our second movie club of the year. It is Starship Troopers. Great, great movie. I'm excited to see what everyone is going to talk about at that movie club. So make sure that you tune in with us 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Our next retailer live stream will be taking place next Tuesday, like 1 week from now. It's crazy how fast this month is coming. March is already literally next week. That is going to be with a Heroes Legacy. What's really, really special about this retailer live stream is that they actually started a GoFundMe about 2 months ago because their comic shop was in dire need and had a lot of struggles during COVID. So anybody that comes out will be greatly supporting them. We reached out because we really, really wanted to help them. And, they're really special. They actually are in Manchester, Connecticut, which is where my boyfriend lives. And I've been to this comic shop before. So please, if you guys can, show up on Tuesday, buy something, help support them, help them get through a really, really difficult time because they're incredible, incredible partners. And we need our comic shops to stay alive during this time. On top of that, our next VCon will be Spring Break, and that will be taking place March 16th and 17th. So it's just going to be a fun time with the crew. Make sure that you come in attendance, not miss the incredible collectibles that we have. Other quick mentions that I would like to throw out. Oh, and then every Monday, make sure that you don't miss Coffee with Casey and Noah, because that will be an update on industry news, on some of our different products. It's really, really fun. They do a great job with it. So make sure you hang out with us every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Some quick product shout outs that I'd like to make is our coloring book, Indiegogo. Only has 2 more weeks that it will be running. This Indiegogo pledge now, we are already fully funded, but once we get to 10K, we'll be unlocking our next stretch goal. We have stretch goals all the way till 20K. So I am very, very excited to show you. We've unlocked 2 stretch goals. The first one is not on here, but that's because it was a separate one. That was at 5K. We added that last minute. So the more you pledge, every time you pledge, you'll get a stretch goal. There's a lot of great add-ons, including a John Royal collectible that will only be sold through the Indiegogo. And on top of that, there is a poster for every person that enters. They will be entered to win a signed poster by John Royal of the cover. Speaking of John Royal, the collectible February cover is still out on our web store and it is super cute. And I love, love, love the cover. So make sure that you head to Xenoscope.com and you pick it up now. And on top of that, our Ketchum covers, yes, I love that cover. Our Ketchum covers are also still out, and you can subscribe to make sure that you never miss them because February was super hot, or I guess you could say cold. Maybe the pool was cold, so it was like breezy. I don't know what you'd say, but super, super hot cover. You don't want to know who Marches, and you don't want to miss it because if you miss the subscription, these might sell out because this has easily become one of our most popular subscriptions. So that's a hint to who we'll be getting in March. I'm seeing, wait, hold on. I wanted to read one of the comments. Yes, I saw a comment about, so also on Tuesday, this is for the VIPs, we'll be doing a VIP stream of Fat Tuesday. The only way you'll get access to that is if you are a VIP. That will be taking place in our VIP Facebook group. I think that's it. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another edition of NCW as we come up to 1 year of NCW. I'm very, very excited. Very, very excited about it. This is Amber signing off for NCW, where you come for the covers, but you stay for the stories. I will see you guys next Wednesday, to talk about Robin Hood. Bye, everybody.